I think there is so much research work going, and the world is gradually transforming. I think in 2050, research work in the universities will have gone to a level where literally the world would depend on universities for survival, because at this rate and speed, um, the world needs universities as research institutions for growth. So I believe in 2050, the need for universities will be more than it is now.
I feel obviously like the infrastructures will change definitely because we have a lot of old buildings. So and definitely technology is going to advance, like ranging from computers and robots. I'm thinking. So basically, it's obviously going to look more like it's really going to be good. That's all I can say. It's more technologies and stuff like that.
I think universities will grow. I think they're going to keep getting bigger and bigger, especially now that they're more like businesses. I think they're going to be really like hyper modern. So we've got like a new library being built in Leeds, and like every year like there's new things getting announced that are getting like redeveloped. I think like especially in like some of the university towns, I think like the importance of the university is going to become like much greater than perhaps it is now. Maybe not in London, but in Leeds especially. Yeah, in 2050 maybe like it'll be. Universities might be even more important than they already are in the local economy.
I think there'll end up being more universities in Leeds, to be honest, because I think there's 5 at the minute. I think they'll keep increasing to be more niche. I think because we've got a few for films and then a few for like sport, like Beckett and stuff like that. So I think they'll definitely increase and they'll get a lot bigger in the city.
I think there are a number of like buildings and a number of infrastructure that is that is sprouting or becoming in recent times. So I think in 10-15 years there'll be so many skyscrapers, so much inventions. I think there'll be improvements, say road improvements, shops, and other things really. So I think there'll be quite some difference.
We actually have like an Instagram account that posts old pictures of the university itself, and you can see that it really hasn't changed that much at all, apart from what people wear and what cars are around. But I guess there's such a big expansion going on at the minute. Then all of it's inside? Don't know. I imagine they won't have reinvested in it by then. Probably the same.
Just stereotypical. There probably won't be any unis actually because tuition fees will be so high. But, there'll probably just be future-y, like white, really tall, just with hover cars.
I think they'll look completely different to how they do now. There'll probably quite a few advances in technology, or quite a few advances in the way we teach. I've seen a lot about the teaching apps and things like that. I'm sure they'll make far more of a role.
Really tall and really cool. You won't have tutors anymore. The PowerPoints will just make themselves.
I do hope that in 2050, at least universities will be able to do so many courses and really expand. I would love to be able to see like people really working with VR, because there's so many opportunities to go into that.
We're more practical now than we used to be in universities, and I feel in the future that'll be more and more. We'll be moving away from lectures. They'll always have their part. You've always got to learn. There's no point sitting and being taught about that. It's always best to go out and physically learn the practical sides of university.
I think because universities are like inextricably linked to the cities that they're in, so what affects the city will affect the uni and the people who go to the uni. So I think it's good that they have a good relationship, because especially in Leeds where there's 3 unis, like, and all the art ones as well. It's like, you got to consider how stuff in the city will affect all those people, because it's such a hub for like students.
I think because they're large institutions, and as large institutions they have like an important role like in the surrounding area. Like I know lots of people like who live in Leeds, but they don't necessarily like interact with the people who they live around. So like in Hyde Park, the student area, like there's a lot of students who live there, eat there, sleep there, but they don't actually like get involved. I think like it is important to like with such a large population in Leeds to get everybody like involved in the local communities.
Yeah, I think it's really important for universities to work with their cities because I think the students in the university can do a lot of good in a community. Like you walk down the high street and you see all these university kids, and they're like putting their time forward, not expecting any pay. They're collecting for charities, setting up all these organisations, doing all this cool stuff, and yeah.
I think universities make an integral part of a society or a locality, you know, so it's just wise, and yeah, I think it's wise that they cooperate together, because there's so much influence university students have on the society, you know, so much influence Leeds uni students, or you know, every other uni student, or teachers or staff, you know, which have on the society. So it's just great to work together, honestly, to make the society at large better. So.
It's important for universities to work with their cities, because if they don't, the city is quite an impractical area to get everyone to. They should be quite easy to access for people, and if they didn't work with the cities, it'd just make it difficult for people to get there.
Well, I think it could be very beneficial for both of them.